Rick and Morty is back with Season 8 getting its premiere episode, Summer of All Fears. The finale of Season 7 came out in December of 2023, so it's been a long wait, but has it been worth it? Is it another disappointment, or is Rick and Morty back? If you have seen my ranking video of every season of Rick and Morty, you'd know my thoughts on Season 7 were extremely mixed, with some of the best episodes in the show in Unmort Rickon and Fear No Mort. I honestly just love these two episodes. Some decent ones were thrown in there too, but for me, it'll be remembered for having some of the worst episodes in the show's history, leaving Season 7 as my lowest ranked season of all of Rick and Morty. Yeah, wasn't a big fan.
I don't know what this is, but it's kind of hot.
The only thing I want to be able to do when talking about Rick and Morty is to sing its praises. Like honestly, I've made a lot of negative Rick and Morty videos, I just want to be able to make some positive ones. So with that, let's begin talking about Season 8's premiere episode and how I think the rest of the season will play out from here. Summer of All Fears is very much that classic Rick and Morty formula. The premise of the episode is a spoof of The Matrix, yet only using that as the vehicle for the rules of the sci-fi beneath the episode's actual plot, which is Summer and Morty coming to grips with living for 17 years in a simulation, with their pain and suffering initially having them get along amazingly with their parental figures, to then leave them both rebelling against them. When rewatching every episode of Rick and Morty for that ranking video, I found the episodes that didn't really work for me were the ones that did, this is just the Star Wars episode, like a beat for beat 22-minute adaptation with numbers. That episode still continuously annoys me to this day. Or when the show was trying to find its feet in the first season. When the show is firing off on all cylinders, it's able to take the rules and mechanics of something we know and then use it for a vehicle to have some fun. That is what this episode does really well. Summer and Morty find themselves inside of a matrix that Rick built to teach them a lesson about taking his phone charger without returning it. The A and B plots of Morty and Summer having lived 17 years play quite similarly, but is fun. Both spiral out of control as expected, leading towards a climax at a nuclear reactor that Morty is going to blow up with a tank he built with his experience in the Charger Wars.
My life is a lie!
Typing that out is genuinely so funny because I don't think I've ever watched a show where I nonchalantly just say those words in that sequence. Like, yeah, this is a normal episode of Rick and Morty. There is also a period where Rick gets tricked into being trapped in his own matrix, which doesn't have a lot of screen time. However, I think this puts into great effect on how well these dynamics just work. As the audience, we can sit there and go, oh yeah, Rick gets trapped in the matrix of a mind prison. He just finds his way out in a few minutes. That's obvious. My thoughts on this episode, as you can probably tell from my summary, are that it's just genuinely a very good episode. I was very fearful early on as Summer began to become a little grating with the obvious, the change in experience will seem good at first, but then will drive a force between her and Beth, alongside Morty going on that same experience. The Summer and Beth interactions are probably the weakest element of this episode, as the least amount of laughs come from it, and it doesn't really add all too much, other than just moving the plot forward. It's just that this episode ticks off basically every box it needs to for it to just be good. Considering last season started with an episode I gave a 2, I reckon starting with something just so solid is nice. I feel relieved to be able to say these words. There are many good jokes in this episode, and probably the most important thing I was hoping for when starting Season 8, I just think the voice talent is really beginning to feel standard. Rick sounds just comfortable, and Morty, while sounding different to before, I think this is the first time I feel like I just wasn't listening to an imitation. The biggest thing to remember is that last season was already deep into production before Justin Roiland left, meaning what most likely happened is that the new voice talent had to come in and had very little wiggle room to make the roles their own. This season, from the ground up, they are there. Their comedic improv can be implemented and the timing can be better suited to their performances, as well as just being able to play off of each other, which goes a long way in these comedic-based shows. What I think makes this episode special is that the 17 years doesn't just happen and then have no bearing on the actual plot. Around the 6-minute mark, we are taken right back into their life in the Matrix, and unlike other episodes in other sitcoms or even in Rick and Morty, the NPCs and everything aren't brainless, and it isn't just a kind of boring world.
Yes.
It's still functioning, and the rules, just the way they are, lead to their further revelations down the line, and the wacky ideas can be even wackier. Like Morty's entire war flashback, going as long as it did, went from being this is kind of cliche to, oh wait, this is actually really kind of funny. This actually makes a ton of sense as to why this kid has PTSD. What was probably the highlight of the episode though was all the build up for this joke.
This is exactly exactly why you shouldn't steal your grandpa's inventions.
No.
Fucker! Matrix piece of shit! Oh, easy, guys. Christ, you're not in the Matrix.
This joke just works so damn well because for a split second, you really believe that there could be a twist akin to literally the episode before the finale of last season where the entire episode was Morty still being stuck in the hole. This just assured me that, yeah, this episode's funny. One extra thing to note though, I do wish the climax of the reactor coming apart did land a bit harder. This all plays out and the only thing of note here is the 20% tipping joke, which is okay, but I think something either narratively or humor-wise could have been a little bit more potent here, with the actual ending of them being mind-blown being something at the moment I'm okay with, but I don't really like that being a plot device that they continually just use to get out of situations where the characters get too fucked up by something they need to write themselves out of by saying, oh yeah, they forgot everything and are back to normal and the status quo. Rick canonically has done this so many times to Morty, so he isn't really a good vehicle to build a foundation of growth from. In this regard, I have always been a fan or the opinion of that Morty is the best vessel for this. The future of season 8 is looking bright, and if it can keep up these types of episodes coming out frequently with a sprinkle of narrative-based episodes that build on the core cast and change up the status quo, I think for many fans, including myself, this is all that is expected. Solid laughs across 10 episode seasons with a few pushing the narrative boundaries that makes every season have a few extra variables to play with, a la a season without the portal gun or the family's divorced and divided, that type of thing. As culture continues to evolve and flow in the real world, Rick and Morty just needs to try and find new ways to satirize things and put a fun sci-fi twist on it. With The Matrix being over 25 years old, they were still able to find just a new premise with it for a sitcom episode, and that is beyond impressive. Season 8 is off to a fun and banging start. Thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Down below let me know what you thought of the episode and what you want to see from season 8 of Rick and Morty. Some of you guys love season 7, so maybe this is just more of the same for you. Check out the playlist below of all of our other Rick and Morty videos, there's some bangers in there. Thank you to Nick, Colin and Jadu Sable for being a part of our patrons. Follow the link down below to support us and join our Discord where we talk all things movies, anime and whatever. We're close to 200 members now and yeah, peace out.